Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Kernels of Truth, brought to you by Progress Kentucky. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We've got, I think, what's going to be a really good show, really exciting show. If folks have been paying attention at all, we've said it about every week for quite a while. The No KYNGS protests are right around the corner. These are intended to be the largest single day of protest in U.S. history. And to get into all the amazing events, there's 23 events happening all across our Commonwealth, people, which is pretty stinking phenomenal, pretty impressive, pretty amazing. We're going to bring on a handful of the amazing organizers, putting the time and energy into turning this idea into real protests. So we're going to hear from folks all across the state, which is really exciting. Southern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, not super far east or super far north, but really good group of organizers for sure. So look forward to that. But before we get into that, are you ready to help create a more compassionate Commonwealth? I'm pretty sure you are, because I don't think that many people just stumble across this show. You probably sought it out. Somebody probably shared it with you. And you probably are well aware that things aren't awesome in Kentucky politically right now. We are sorely in need of significant political change in Kentucky. The next 13 months or so, Progress Kentucky is going to be focused on flipping Kentucky's 6th congressional district, along with key state house seats that are within that 16 county congressional district. Really big job. It's going to take volunteers. It's going to take time. It's going to take resources. We need your help to make it happen. So please make a monthly contribution right now via our secure online website, Act Blue, to help turn Kentucky a bit more purple. $6 a month. It's the 6th district. $16 a month. There's 16 counties. Whatever it is, it all adds up, and none of it's tax deductible. Sorry, because we are a C4 nonprofit. So, but yeah, go ahead and head to our Act Blue page if you like. Go ahead and check on that. Click on that. Add a number in there. Add your payment information, and go ahead and just do it. Why not? We're an all volunteer group, but we do have some expenses. So we'd love to have your support, because the one thing I want to just underscore is how important the 6th congressional district is and what an amazing opportunity it is, because there are so few open congressional seats that are truly competitive. Most of them have been gerrymandered so that one party or the other owns them completely. This is one that, if you squint, is absolutely competitive for the Democrats. They could take it back for the first time since 2010, I think, was the last time a Democrat won that seat. So it has been a hot minute. All right. So let's now check in with our co-host. Very excited to be joined this evening by my friend and yours, Chris Priest. Chris, how are you?
Howdy, everybody. That's your camera shaking. Are you have it on your lap or something?
I have a dog. My dog came into the room and really wanted some pets, so I had to do some petting of the dog while I was doing the intro. So yeah, sorry about the distracting camera shake. High production value show, and sometimes these things happen.
Good job multitasking. I'm here from Berea, Kentucky. I've been out in the field all day. I'm tired, and but we're here and we're talking about Kentucky and what's happening and going on. And should we share a Biden list?
Oh my God, I think that would be awesome. Yeah. Who is on your Biden list? All honor and glory to Tyler Childers. But who's on your list?
Well, there's a lot of them, because all of our federal government is totally shut down, and we're trying to buy a farm, and we have to have the USDA open to be able to close on that farm. So, so all of them who are not coming together and getting the government back up and running for all of us, I think the GOP can concede some health care for the American people to reopen the government. Not help it, like the whole shenanigan facade of, oh, it's for illegals. It's not. They're just trying to make sure that your premiums don't double or triple. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't wants to extend the ACA provision and fund it in this. So it's I find myself like listening to her, and she makes a little bit more sense more often. It's really weird. I don't know why.
That's how upside down the times are, right? When the chief proponent of the Jewish space lasers is like making sense, you're like, what in the hell is going on, people? She's like, they didn't tell me that. Like, well, you shouldn't. People like she's used that excuse a couple of times. Like, oh, they didn't tell us that was in the bill. Like, don't you have staff? I mean, I don't expect her to take time off CrossFitting to read all the bills. Right. But she has staff and they should be able to like flag things in this legislation. But yeah, not the finest moment of our democracy. That's for sure. But yeah, no, they should fucking pony up and make sure people are not kicked off outrageously expensive healthcare when these subsidies expire. If folks are fired up about this issue, you should be. You should also go back to last week's show because we had a couple of amazing advocates talking about healthcare issues in Kentucky. We had Jason Bailey from the Kentucky Center of Economic Policy, and he did the math and brought the numbers about what was really at stake. And then brother Christian, a Catholic monk, also talked about his personal health care and how that was going to go through the roof because his representative, Hal Rogers, was not voting for it and lying about why he was, what he was doing. So it was really powerful to have a man of the cloth like calling his representative a liar about healthcare costs. Because, we'll say this about the Christians. Jesus was pretty big on the healing,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. That's an area of like expertise, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into oh wait, I didn't do my batting list. All right, so I gotta do my batting list. My batting list this week is Brandon Smith. Senator Brandon Smith is on my batting list. You will find out why soon. But let's go ahead and do news of the week. And Chris, I think you get the first story, the big story that people can't stop talking about it. I tell you what.
Yeah, it was all over my Facebook. People were all talking about it the past couple of days that Amy McGrath is back and she is running for Mitch McConnell's seat. So, she ran, she ran for the seat before, and before that she ran for the 6th district against Andy Barr. She only lost to Andy Barr by 3 points. But the Mitch McConnell battle there was a little bit more than 3 points.
A little bit more.
But these are unprecedented times, and she can raise money like nobody's business. I think the only person in Kentucky that can rival her fundraising abilities probably our governor. And so, she's gonna make a big splash. I'm sure she's got a whole bunch of donors lined up and ready to roll. But surprisingly, when I'm scrolling through my Facebook feed, there were quite a few people that were not happy with her jumping back in the race. Now, I am certainly a proponent that the more people you have in the primary, the better. Like let all the people who want to be in there and fight for being our voice jump in there, and let's see whose voice carries and who's able to get the most votes. And I wish we had some ranked choice voting instead of us. Because I know so many people who are just be like, who do I think's going to win? Not necessarily who do I think represents me the best. I am a person who will vote for who I think will represent me the best, regardless of who I think would like win in the general or whatever, and try to play some game with it. What do you think about her jumping back in? Like, I also want to make another point that Democrats in general don't, like big name Democrats, don't typically run after they've lost again. They don't jump back in and keep fighting for that seat. And so I find it reassuring that this is happening, that she's jumping back in and fighting for that seat again. Because, I mean, if you wanted it the first time, why wouldn't you want to try to do it again?
Yeah, so I'm, as folks probably know, a little biased because I actually worked for her House race, right? So in 2018, I worked for her field team, and it was a really positive experience for me. I really liked doing the work for her. I was inspired by her as a candidate, like many were. That launch video and her personal story, really compelling. I was crushed that 3.5, 3.2 points, whatever the heck it was, that we couldn't close that deal. And I to this day blame Donald Trump for the rally he did in Richmond like the week before. I don't know, whatever it was, where he made sure all his followers knew that Andy was his boy and that, God, he should go up for Andy. Because, Andy Barr does not come off as a Trumper. Now you will watch him, and he is doing everything in his power to, as I think Silas House said, lick the boots of Trump and make it as clear as possible that the two are aligned. But yeah, so I was, your point about running for something again a couple of times, I was there for that. I wanted to see her stay in the 6th district and actually kind of keep running because she was so close. But she and I don't think I'm telling anything in confidence. She was summoned to New York. She met with Senator Schumer, who recruited her for that race, that Senate race, right? And they came back. She came back from the meeting with him, intrigued, I think, by the idea of running for it. Because she saw Trump as a real threat to our democracy. She also knew that Mitch was kind of also a very big threat, given what he'd done with Supreme Court seats and using power to overcome norms. So she saw him as a big problem, and one that she would like to help take on. They thought, her data people, her inner circle, thought there was a path for her to win. And that was 100%. She thought she could do it.
The most upsetting about that run was the ad she ran that seemed like she was going to try to work with Trump. Knowing how big. I mean, we didn't know exactly how big of a problem Trump was at that point. We knew he was a problem, but not to the degree that he is now.
Yeah, no, the first term is different, right? There were some guardrails, right? He had real humans around him that were legitimate political operators that knew how government worked and knew what it shouldn't do. Now those people are all gone, right? Yeah. So, I think she ran that Senate race knowing that she needed to get Trump voters. She needed to get crossover voters, right? And so she was a little, I think, less than artful about how she appealed to those voters. And I think she said some things that, weren't really bad at all. Hey, I will work with him on things I agree with him on, which, don't you want any of your senators to work with your president when they agree on things?
Oh, absolutely.
That's not a super outrageous statement. Of course, that turned into a headline that was pro-Trump Democrat, which it's who wrote that headline? Because that's not what she said, and that's not how she would have ever characterized it, right? So all this is water under the bridge, right? It was is an unfortunate race. It was I think an electorate she never could have won, with Trump at the top of that ticket. I just think there's no way you can win. She did, I think, 10 points better than Biden in Kentucky, which, isn't saying much, but it's something. It's pretty significant that you can outperform the top of the ticket. So that's let's not forget that. And, the most important point, really, and the reason I think Schumer was psyched to get her as a candidate is she is a prodigious fundraiser, right? So she didn't need a bunch of DNC money to do the job. She built her own war chest, an enormous, more like a, war aircraft carrier, really, not just a chest, right? So that thing was she was able to spend so much money that, Mitch couldn't just ignore her like any average candidate that ran against him. He had to spend his money in Kentucky. He couldn't just dole it out all across the country to more competitive races where he could help more Republicans, take more seats, right? So there's a real strategic value in the fact that that's how, that's who he had to run against. I know, whatever. It is what it is. I don't think anyone was the DNC was not recruiting her for this campaign. I think she's got the fire in her belly. She wants to make things better. She is fighting hard because she sees the need for better in DC. And I don't think any of the other candidates would dispute that. Everyone's got a shot. Everyone should go ahead. That's how our democracy is supposed to work, right? That's how elections are supposed to work. Yeah. And if the signal chat that I was on, or if all those people are right, then she must be such a horrible candidate. that she is gonna lose the primary. I'm assuming because they were really, really going after her, and I don't think that's necessarily. I mean, I can see why people are, a little bitter or whatever, I guess. But I'm kind of with you. Like, it shows some like determination that she's coming back and trying again. And the voters will ultimately make the decision. They'll make the decision in the primary, they'll make the decision in the general. And I, for one, wouldn't bet her against her in the primary. That's for sure.
No, I mean, she's got name recognition across the state already. And, to a large degree, more so than the rest of the candidates.
Yeah. No. And again, that fundraising prowess, we'll see. Maybe everyone's so tired of her, they won't, she won't get the small dollar donations that she got before. But I think she's still compelling, and people. She's been doing the MSNBC hits. She's built a couple of PACs that were very strategically focused on key races. She helped. This is a little awkward thing. Like, she actually endorsed Colonel Pam, because she wanted to support women who had a national service background getting into politics. So she endorsed and helped support Colonel Pam, who of course was the first Senate candidate, who now is kind of going to be fighting for her life in that race for sure.
Well, she endorsed Colonel Pam in a different race.
Not in this. Sorry. Yes, not in this race. That would be really bad. But yeah, in earlier races, her PAC supported Colonel Pam. So, but it was a cool PAC, and it's a good idea for a PAC, But yeah, is Amy an organizer? No. Did she do all the things that she could have done to help change the political landscape of Kentucky? No, even with her funds. But she did a couple things that were really important. She gave a lot of money to Andy Beshear when he was running for governor in 2019, the first time. So she, coming out of her race, she had leftover resources. She rolled a bunch into Andy's race to help him run the biggest possible field campaign, which, if we remember how few votes he won, and he needed to win, like how close that was determinative, and that was Amy putting that money in.
And one of her PACs that you mentioned, she was targeting, I think, state attorney generals across the nation that Trump was trying to target and get flipped, and so she was trying to fight back against that. And so she's been behind the door, pulling, trying to help out of sight, and so definitely admirable. Keeping some money going to people who really need it in races. So
yeah, good fundraiser. She's been strategic in like what she's raised money for. But yeah, like if voters are if voters are tired of her, then they won't pick her, and then it'll be someone else with a national security background running against somebody who's licking Trump's boots. And that'll be interesting to see that play out for sure. All right, let's get on to our next story. This one I wanted to tell you guys about. If you recall, I just mentioned, my biting list includes Kentucky State Senator Brandon Smith, Republican from Hazard. He is fighting multiple. This is a story that comes to us from the Lexington Herald Leader, fighting multiple legal battles over a failed Bitcoin mining operation in eastern Kentucky. His company, Mohawk Energy, which was a coal, kind of services company, has pivoted to try to be a kind of Bitcoin company. So they're defendants in two lawsuits related to the company's property purchase, use of expensive cryptocurrency mining machines. So somebody from Jenkins sued him in Letcher Circuit Court, alleging that Smith grossly inflated the value of Mohawk Energy. And he's also being sued by a Chinese company, HBT Power, which helped Mohawk Energy make that energy pivot. They sued him, alleging a breach of contract and fraudulent misrepresentation last year. So this is like ugly, right? You hate to see a elected official being sued by a couple of former business partners because he didn't do a good job. He's tried to screw them over, whatever it is, and these are all alleged actions that he's taken. But you're a state senator, and this is what you're doing. Why are you so focused on your Bitcoin company launch. Oh, I know why. Because in 2021 and 2022, just before Mohawk Energy's step into the cryptocurrency space, Smith sponsored bills offering tax breaks and deregulation for crypto enterprises in Kentucky. In 2021, the General Assembly passed a bill he authored to offer tax incentives for cryptocurrency mining company investments of at least $1 million that purchase and upgrade existing buildings inside the state. They also passed a bill he supported, sponsored by House Majority Floor Leader Stephen Rudy from Paducah, exempting electricity expenses for cryptocurrency mining operations. Both bills passed through the committee that he chairs. So he gamed the system. He wrote the laws to help him launch his company or pivot his existing company, which he then still couldn't make it, actually launch, and is now being sued by two companies that he went into business with. I'm just going to say it right now. This is like absolutely disgusting. This should be like front page everywhere. There should be like actual ethics inquiries about what Brandon Smith did. Yet it's like, the 5th page, one little blurb. It is not getting the attention it deserves. This is the type of thing we should be making Senator like Bitcoin Smith, Bitcoin Brandon, should be absolutely famous for incredibly unethical behavior and passing laws to benefit your company. It's just disgusting. It's gross, and no one seems to be talking about it. We're talking about it right now. Please find the link. Please read the story. Please share it. It's just inappropriate, highly inappropriate. I would argue, in my kind of outlandish sense of what we should get from our elected officials, but it's not this. That's for sure. It's not this. I know. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, this is disgusting and crazy. The one of the wild pieces of this is the part about electricity, the electricity rates for Bitcoin operations, and I've seen, or I've read this happening in other places too, where they'll have like a huge online operation. It's not necessarily just for cryptocurrency, but I think it seems to be cryptocurrency and AI both end up doing this. From what I've seen, that they will try to get laws to where they don't have to pay like the outrageous electric bills that they're putting that they're using, and those charges get secretly put on to everyone else that's using electricity in that area. And so it not only are they not paying for the business operation, their own business operation, they're making the residents in that area foot the bill for them, and it's insane.
Yeah,
I wouldn't love that. Who
truly insane. Yeah. And crypto mining is like, really? There's value? Where's the value? It's like crypto bros, so they can offer more bribes to Trump. I don't exactly know what the like economic value and the outcome that we really want from crypto mining. And again, just like burning electricity, which of course, if they're doing it in Kentucky, it's 80% coal, right? So like dirtiest, whatever, and most climate change impact, and they're like, meanwhile they're jacking up the average ratepayers rates. Because the PSC won't say no to UK or KU or the Louisville power company, right? So it's really problematic that these guys are like getting special carve outs. Pretty pathetic that you get a special carve out and you still can't make a go of it, and people are suing you. Just like, not only are you corrupt, but you're inept. And the quotes from his lawyer in there are also pretty choice, that he entered into these contracts without proper legal counsel. You are a lawmaker, sir. You can't sign a contract that's not going to like chew you up and spit you out when your business partners realize you're just incompetent. So not our best, not bringing our best to Frankfort, I guess. Bitcoin Brandon Smith. All right, let's get on to our panel, because we are incredibly honored to have just a wonderful group of folks joining us right now. Folks who have been spending a lot of time and energy volunteer time, volunteer energy, putting together what is going to be the just the most, I think, largest day of protest in U.S. history. That is the goal. Feels like we're getting there. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, let's just do a quick round robin of all the folks who are here, and we'll start at the bottom and work our way around. So Tyler, can you tell us who you are, who you're with, and a little bit about your No Kings event?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Tyler Sagardoy, and I am an organizer and volunteer with Indivisible Owensboro. With our No Kings event, let me preface it by saying we've been very active when it comes to having a rally or an event every month, really since Trump took office. And so our events, are well known in our community. I don't know if you guys have been to Owensboro, but Owensboro is very strong when it comes to community. And so we really leverage the strength of our community to put this on. We have friends who are in churches who loan us tables. We have speakers from different faiths and from different disciplines and coming from different viewpoints. So there's a lot that we draw from, and so we look at our No Kings event really as a community rally. We bring together people who understand and are concerned with what they see every single day. And so with regards to our logistics and what people should expect at our No Kings event, it'll be at our county courthouse on the lawn at the only shaded place in the downtown area. Hopefully the weather will turn out and it'll be very sunny. We will have a few speakers, maybe 4 to 5 speakers speak on different things. I will be the MC and trying to hype the crowd up. I believe we will have live music from a local band who is taking time to rehearse the No King songs, so that way they can play them live at our event. So we're very stoked for that. And then people are going to line the courthouse square on the sidewalks with their signs. Sometimes people drive by. We've had a couple of people in the past, elected officials, drive by, not in support, meant to mock us, but they come off as looking like they're supporting us. So it really kind of helps us. But we expect to do that for a couple hours from 11 to 1 during hopefully a peaceful Saturday afternoon. And I'm stoked. Word is spreading like wildfire throughout our community. And, if it's anything like last time, we're looking at 400 to 500 people just here.
That is some interesting background noise. So if everyone's got a printer going, whatever that was, please turn that off. All right. So Tyler, you're expecting a few hundred people there in Owensboro, basically?
Yes, we've got about, I would say, 100 preliminary signups, and we know that based on last time in the week leading up to it, when there's a lot of national news and local news focused on the No Kings day of mobilization, that's when a lot of people start to sign up.
All right, let's turn to Leslie, hear a little bit about what's going on in Paducah.
Okay, so we did something that we had time to do this time that we tried to do last time, but I could only do some that I printed myself and had to perforate because we had time to get these printed. So we did postcards this time that has the who, what, and where, when on it. I wanted to do these because my daughter is a playwright in Philadelphia, and she always does these postcards for her plays and gets a full house for a couple of weeks when she does them by taking these postcards around town. And so far, we just got them Saturday, and we're just starting to distribute them, but are having some success with this. So anyway, ours is going to be, of course, on October 18th, and it's got the info on here, 2 to 4 p.m. And it's at the Bob Noble Park in Paducah, which to me and all of us, we just think this is the perfect location for protests in Paducah. It has a history. During the Iraq War, there were small protests that were there. And this is where we've had the last 4 events. And it's really good because it's a park, so it's a peaceful, calm environment. There's a sculpture there. I don't know if you can see the little tree
Nice. Yeah.
looking thing. That is Wasintu, who is a hold on. This is why I was printing. Sorry. It means to have understanding, and it honors the Chickasaw Indians who inhabited the Paducah area before the Jackson Purchase of 1818. The sculpture was created by the artist Peter Wolf Toth, and it was hand chiseled from a local red oak and is part of his National Trail of the Whispering Giant series. So it kind of provides a focal point. The street in front of it is Park Avenue, which is a pretty busy 4-lane that goes on out to the mall area. So it's just a really good location, and there's lots of sidewalk there. If we have too many people show up, we can just keep sending them down the sidewalks one direction or around the corner another direction. And so we've been preparing. We've got we're just going to have one speaker because usually at our events, most people want to focus on honk and wave, standing on the sidewalk and doing honk and wave. We're hoping to get some music. We're still working on that. We're also trying to see we have the Lower Town artists, and so we're trying to see if we can get some of them to do some little fancier artwork for some of the protest signs and make that kind of a hallmark for Paducah. And that's pretty much it.
That sounds awesome. And so what's your goal in terms of turnout? How many folks are you hoping to come out to do the honk and wave and hear the speaker?
Well, we just don't know. Whatever shows up will be great. The last time in June, I was really concerned because signups were really slow. I mean, they just trickled in, and I thought maybe we'll get to 100, and then finally we did, and then it was like 150, and it was going to rain on Saturday. So I told the paper that maybe we'd get 200, and I was being optimistic, and lo and behold, there was a big storm right as it started, and 900 people showed up, which is the largest protest in Paducah. And I'll tell you one more little thing about the card today. I told you a story before when we were backstage. I went to the CVS today to get some medicine for my husband. And the pharmacy tech that walked up to me was an African-American kind of young female. And we don't typically have not been getting a lot of people of color or younger people at our events. It's been a lot of gray-haired people like me. And we've gotten some, but anyway, she had a message shirt on, and it had pharmacy tech in it, but it started off with "I'm a beautiful black woman," and I thought, well, she looks like kind of a political person. So anyway, I just laid this down on the counter facing her where she would read it. I didn't say anything about it. I was just like laying it down, and I said, "Oh, I like your T-shirt," and she saw that card laying there. It had been there, and she said, "When is that?" And I said, "Oh, do you want this card?" And she said, "Yes." And then she said, "Can I have all of them?" Because I had a stack of about 5. And I said, "Sure, take them all." And then I said, "Would you like more?" And she said, "Yes." She was really excited. And I said, "How many do you want?" And she said, 40 or 50. And I said, "Can you really use that many?" And she said, "Oh, yeah, there are people who are really going to like this." So right off the bat, you can see how using this for promotion is really good. And also a guy in Kroger said he liked my shirt. I have my No King shirt from Indivisible on. I don't know if you can see it.
Nice.
And a guy just walking by me said, "Oh, I like your shirt." And I said, "Oh, do you want one of my cards?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "It's for our protest." Yep, there sure need to be more protests around here. So I think there's a lot of appetite for something happening, and I do expect to get a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that ratio of signups to show-ups holds, because that's pretty awesome for sure. Awesome. So Dr. Sharon Whitlock, would you tell us a little bit about your organization, where it's based, and what you guys have got planned on the 18th?
Okay, so I am pinch hitting for Kathy. She is our leader for the organization. We're SOKY Indivisible, and definitely we're going to be having our No Kings rally on October the 18th. And the last time we had the No Kings rally, we were on national TV. So we had many, many more people than we expected. We had 300 plus at that rally. We are handing out, or we are sending out postcards to individuals to let them know that we will be having the rally. We have a lot of support from the local community. We do try to do an event at least 2 or 3 times a month. Most of the time we are hitting at Rand Paul or what is the other senator's name? I can't think of it. Let me read. I wrote his name down. Guthrie, and we actually have protested ICE. We did also get involved with the young student that we had that ICE had taken. One of our immigrant students, he was a senior in high school, and they had picked him up, and we got involved with that. We were that whole outcome was that he was released, but he did have to go through the courts for his legal status in the country. But we are excited. We have people that are excited. We have lots of people. We do a lot of honks and drive-bys when we do have our events. We have a lot of people that do just kind of wave at us and get involved with us. We have lots of people that are volunteering. We will have a march. We are going to be ending up at the park. We will have speakers for that occasion. We have T-shirts with no Kings on it. And we're just excited to continue the work that has begun in Bowling Green. And since we have a new person in charge of the United States of America, so we have been protesting as often as we can, most of the time that we can, even in the heat, in the very, very hot part of the summer. So we moved to the afternoon so we could get more support for that. But we are right there. We're there for the long haul. We are not moving anywhere. We're not going back or backing up. I was happy to hear on the news today that a lot of the insurance for affordable health care is going to be going out to persons that are insured, and it's indicating how much their insurance will increase. And I think that's going to give people a real awareness of what is being fought for right now with the insurance and with those stipends still staying in place. So we're excited at Bowling Green. We're optimistic. We're moving forward with continuing to be there. We haven't gotten Rand Paul, nor have we gotten Guthrie at a town hall as yet, and we are not really expecting them, but we did host the town hall, inviting Guthrie to be there. So we're right there. We're continuing with the mission at hand.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome. Brett Guthrie, obviously a really important political target. He's the chair of a really powerful committee, the committee that did lots of the work for the big ugly bill. That was his committee that put a lot of that together. And of course, the thing only passed by one vote. So every single member of the Kentucky delegation, except for Morgan, is the deciding vote, right? If any of those folks had, I guess, except Massey, I have to acknowledge that truth. If any of them had decided to not go with Trump, they could have stopped that horrible bill, right? Which is the thing that put in motion the Medicaid cuts and did not extend the Obamacare vouchers either. So yeah, really, really important to hold these guys accountable. Thanks for sharing what you're working on. It sounds awesome. Let's turn to Harry now with Bluegrass Activist Alliance, our partner in crime for the No Kings event in Lexington. What are we cooking up, Harry?
Well, we are cooking up, hopefully, an event that is just as successful and just as big as we had back in June. Back then, we had about 5,000 people downtown Lexington at the Courthouse Plaza. Hoping to do it again. We have 12 or more now official partner organizations, including 5051, Sophie. So really great partner organizations who are helping pull together volunteers, obviously just participants, resources. We're cooking along as a coalition of people, and I don't know, we're just excited to do it. We think we're gonna turn them out once again, and of course pray for the weather to be nice.
Well, are we gonna march, Harry?
Yes, I'm sorry. We do have a marching route that we have established, and actually we tomorrow are meeting with the, and Aaron, you can speak more about this, the mayor of Lexington about how we will be conducting our march. Also, we will be having now, I believe, 2 or 3 speakers in the main section of our programming, plus an open mic afterwards, which is our normal thing. And we are looking into music right now, not 100% about it, but it would be nice to have. Normally, our schedule right now is going to be like an hour worth of, it starts at 1 p.m. And then we have an hour of basically time to circulate between all of the groups that are there. People can meet us. People can find out what we all do, get information, and then also just circulate in the crowd, have a good time. We want this to be exciting. I always think one of the most important parts of this is for people to know that we're not alone. So if you're out there feeling like you're the only person who has your, particular leanings or opinions in your family or friends groups, like, come out to this. You are not the only one. And then Aaron, if you want to take a minute to talk about the meeting or anything else of the event that I have forgotten, that'd be great.
Yeah, so we're excited about the march. We are, we're meeting with the mayor tomorrow, as Harry mentioned, and the public safety commissioner to basically share that we are going to be expressing our freedom of speech and freedom of assembly, and we'll be taking it through the streets. We've been in contact with the police, and they've been less supportive. But I feel like appealing to our elected officials and just stating plainly what's happening and what we'll be doing will ensure that they meet the moment and keep everyone safe. That's ultimately that's really important, right? And then in terms of the speakers, I did want to just give a quick shout out to the Episcopal Bishop of the Lexington Diocese. Episcopal Bishop Mark Van Covering is going to be speaking, which is, I don't know, I'll be honest, I'm excited because I go to an Episcopal church, and getting the bishop is kind of a big deal. But also I think because the weird conversation that's happened since Charlie Kirk and the kind of the deification that's happened with him, it's like, oh, we're the godless left. Like, yeah, and we're not. We're not. In fact, there's lots of red letters in the Bible that should make them ashamed of what they've been doing in terms of Republican policies. So, I don't want to turn it into a prayer circle or anything like that, but I think it's important to have folks who can speak truth to power and do it with a kind of prophetic voice. And so that's what I'm excited about Bishop Mark Van Covering joining us. So, all right. But that's probably enough about Lexington. Let's get to, and our goal really is to we'd like to double what we had last time. We had about 5,000. We'd like to see more than that. We want to get to that 3.5% of the population in ongoing and engaged resistance to stop authoritarianism. And so if we do that, we're really close, which is awesome. So Sophie, tell us about what's going on in Louisville, though.
Yeah, so in Louisville, we're going to have our protest from 2 to 5 p.m. at the Belvedere, so it's downtown. A little bit of a location change from where we normally do it at Metro City Hall, but if we're expecting more people, we want to have a little bit more space for people to congregate before we get to marching. And then something that I'm really excited about this time, the way we're framing our event, is to sort of answer that question of, so what after a protest? So what do you do after that? So our goal is really highlighting a bunch of incredible local community organizations who are doing long-term resistance efforts. So we all know that we really need to rely on our community to keep us safe. And so our goal is to connect people with those orgs, help inspire people through our speakers. We'll be talking about how they started leading their org. And so it should be a really fun day. We're also doing a big art push this time. So we have 3 community art builds ahead of that as well to make some really cool banners and different art projects to help display that at the park as well. And then we also have some public safety trainings if anyone's interested in learning a little bit more about protest safety from the community safety model. We're going to be doing some of those as well. So it should be a really good day, and we're all really excited here. We had 8,000 people last time, so hoping for that number, if not more this time. But yeah.
That's awesome. That's phenomenal. So yeah, I'm really interested to hear, Sophie kind of got to the oh, so what's next? What I'd love to hear from folks is what is it that's inspiring you to do this work, to put this time and energy in this, volunteer, unpaid, I'm sure everyone else has jobs they got to do too, and family they got to take care of, or whatever it is, right? You're all managing and juggling lots. What's the why that kind of keeps you, at the work? And what is it that motivates you? And then maybe what else do you want to see after? Where do you want this to go? So it's a bit of an open question, and I'm going to let you kind of choose which element of it you answer and lead into. But I want to maybe go in reverse order. So Sophie, can you kick us off?
Yeah, I feel like that's a question that gets asked a lot, and it's tough to answer because there are so many reasons why. I think we all have like over 10 different things that we see happening on a daily basis due to the current administration that we don't agree with and we want to do something about. So for me, it really just comes down to, it just is what the right thing to do. It's the biggest motivation for me for what I'm doing and all the hours and time it takes. But what I would hope to see from all of this, obviously, is pressuring politicians from both sides to really push back against this rise of fascism, but additionally build up that community network that we need. I think our country has a lot of disconnection. And so this can really push back against that. You have people gathering and marching together in the street, talking with each other for the first time often. You have all these incredible orgs that don't often get highlighted because it's not newsworthy or buzzworthy. And I think that's one of the really big powers from these events, is really just connecting people.
That's awesome. Totally concur. Harry, what about you?
I guess my personal drive obviously is all the issues, everything, like Sophie said, there's like 10, 20, who knows how many different things. But my personal drive for this is I want to be able to do something. I don't like being at home, seeing the news and just worrying. I like to have an outlet to do something, and I want to be able to give people any avenues to get involved, to say, this is what you can do, be empowered. You're not alone, obviously, and that's what I want to do. I want to work through it. I don't want to watch the news. I want to be able to know that people like this, people here on this call, are organizing. We're working together, and we see each other every day. That's my personal drive, and what I hope other people will get involved with.
Nice. Dr. Whitlock, how about you?
Okay, so mine is personal in the sense that I have children, grandchildren. I definitely do not want them to grow up or, be a part of a country that does not allow them to have freedom to be able to do many of the things that I was able to do. Martin Luther King marched, and we had a lot of marches for lots of groups of people, and we have gotten through with lots of rights for groups of people, and that we have fought for those. And I just cannot stand by to see that someone would set themselves up in such a way, surround themselves with such yes people, and pull down what has been, even though it hasn't been great in all of it, but it was there, the Constitution that should be driving us as a country. And I just cannot stand there and just not fight for that for those that I love, those that are coming behind me, those that will be living in this country. I cannot even fathom them just moving through with a country like Russia or a country like China or a country like North Korea. So whatever I have within me that I can do to drive it, in the direction that we need to be in, as maintaining what we've had and moving forward for even a better country, then that's what I'm for. So mine is really, really personal in the sense that I got too many people that I want to see be able to have the same kinds of rights that I've had as I've come through, that many groups have fought through, and not to allow someone to just stand, dictate, and take them away.
Nice. Thank you, Dr. Whitlock. Leslie, how about you?
Some of my motivation is probably similar to that, in that this is just something that I feel that I just have to do, because we're at risk of losing our rights and our freedoms. And I've read stories about Russia and how they got to be the way they are, and do not want to see that for the next generations. I have kids and grandkids. I've also been a healthcare provider, and Medicaid was like 90% of the people that I worked with. My husband owns a business that provides foster care through the Medicaid waiver programs. And, just what will happen to these people with intellectual disabilities, when Medicaid gets destroyed. And we're just, the atrocities are pretty bad. But I want to give a shout out to my co-leader, Carla Johnston, who kind of helped we keep each other going. I think both of us have similar motivations. She stays a little more in the background and does a lot of the social media, and I do more of the being the person out there talking to people. But And both of us have seen, what I think Harry has talked about, that the need for people, especially in a red area like ours, to know that they're not alone. We get the feedback on Mobilize after these events, and that lifts us up because we have people that say they were brought to tears, that they didn't realize there were other people that had the same beliefs, that they're so glad that somebody's doing something. And that kind of positive feedback definitely keeps us going. Things have been pretty rough this year as far as the workload. It's way more than I anticipated taking on. And I'm not getting any younger, but I'm going to do it because we just have to do it. And I did forget to mention that Marshall County Human Rights Advocacy Coalition, it's a new group in Marshall County in the Benton area. And this is the first time that we're having a co-host with us, so that we're coordinating, and they're going to help with the volunteers and some of that. And I think some of them are going to come dressed as handmaids in the red costumes. And I think we're probably going to have some costume people. And as far as where it's going next, I think a lot of people are like, well, is this going to stop Trump? And of course, part of it is what Aaron said about, well, we got to get to that 3.5%. And they're trying to do it with this No Kings. Can we get to 11 million people across the nation? But Ezra and Leah do their What's the Plan every week, and their newsletter, and this and the leaders thing today. And they pointed out, look, there's going to be stuff that this administration does constantly that makes all of us feel like shit. That's just the way it is. And it's going to keep happening. And we can't look at our protests as stopping that. That's going to keep happening. Our success is going to be measured. Number one, are we more unified than we were before? And I would say that's happening among the Democrats. We've only got 3 of them that aren't holding fast on this budget fight. So they're more unified than they were. They were in the spring, they were ready to cave, and they were all kind of split. So our electeds are more unified. They're seeing that we have their back by doing these protests. Are we bigger than we were before? Oh, yeah, 900 people in Paducah means we're bigger, and our group is bigger, and we've got more people and more resources now. Are our tactics proliferating? Yes, we see things coming, bubbling spontaneously, like what happened with Jimmy Kimmel and the Tesla takedown earlier in the year. So the tactics are proliferating. And is the regime's popularity failing? And that's the polling is showing that. So those are the measures that we look at, not whether all the terrible bad things that Trump is doing are stopping. He's going to keep doing it. They've got a lot of levers of power. So we can't, think that we're just going to do this protest and all of a sudden, they're going to start caving on everything. But the Republicans are starting to see that they're going to be in trouble. And that's why they're trying to cheat more with the gerrymandering and all that. And that's what keeps me going, and where I think we're going next. We're just keep building our group, getting more people into it, more talent, more and bigger protests, and get to that 3.5% of the population that it takes to doing the non-cooperation techniques to beat this back.
That's awesome. Super inspiring. Thank you, Leslie. Tyler, how about you? What's going on? What's Owensboro want to get done with this?
Yeah, so I think that when it comes to what we're looking for, I think Trump and his administration represent a real existential threat to towns like us, right? We have, for example, an essential aircraft provider, right? Federal government pays for that, right? And we're lucky to have that. There's a lot of grants, a lot of education grants that we get. And so I think it really represents an existential threat to towns in Kentucky. We see what Republicans, and by the way, Indivisible is a nonpartisan organization, but as we've seen with Amendment 2, the Republican Party has made it, a platform to disenfranchise special needs children and our public schools. And so there's a broader, I don't want to say war because I don't like to use that word, but there's a conflict, right? Between those who are fighting to keep what we have and those who want to tear it down. And those who want to tear it down are the billionaires, who want to liquidate government so that way they can just get a little bit wealthier, right? It's not like they need it, but for us, it's everything. You had asked why, what is it about why I'm jumping in and why I'm, well, one thing I truly believe in is that be the change you want to see in the world. So that's, number one. Number two, when the history books are written, I just want it to be known that I was trying to fight, right? I have to jump in, like everybody says, why put the time in? It's because that's what you have to do. When you're the party or the group out of power, it's about outreach, it's about communication, right? And that's what I can do locally. So that's why, I jump in. But, where do we go after this, right? The ultimate end game is getting Donald Trump out of office. And that's going to happen by electing Democrats in 2026 who will impeach him, convict him, and remove him, right? To get there, we need to sustain a momentum. And we need to remind people to, look and critically think about the reality that you're living in. You're getting bombarded with thousands of messages every day telling you a very hyper normalized, very simplistic view of the world, right? Good versus bad, white versus blue, black. That's not the way it is, right? So it's important that people realize what it is that is going on around them and to really connect the dots. It's about getting people involved. Like I said, our event is community driven and it's a way to coalesce the community. So now's the time. If you want to link up with local organizations like the Sierra Club or the Coalition for an Inclusive Davis County, come, right? People love to talk and it's a great networking event. And it's about sustaining and building this momentum now to the election, right? Every single time we do a rally, a protest, what have you, there are more Republicans who are coming to our rallies because they see what's going on and they understand the difference between, honest to goodness conservatism and fascism masquerading as that. So there's that. Really quickly, I just want to thank a few people. Judy Dixon, the chair of Indivisible Owensboro, Kathy Estes, who's been organizing with us, Dixie Collinson, who helps run our Facebook group, and then finally, Loud Women of Davis County. They will be hosting a sign-making party, I believe, this Saturday. Check their Facebook group for that, but I forgot to mention that, and they have always been a very strong partner with us.
That's awesome. Loud Women. Love that.
Together, it was a grassroots, group that just found each other, coalesced, and now they're with us. So they're a wonderful ally.
Well, it sounds like we've got like some pretty amazing events. This really was just a handful. There are 23 happening across Kentucky. We got a link in there to find the No Kings rally closest to you. So wherever you're watching in Kentucky, really wherever you're watching in the United States of America, I think mostly people are here in Kentucky when they watch. But yeah, you can find a No Kings rally close to you. Again, the most significant, the largest day of protest in U.S. history. It's just 10 days away. You can make it that, right? So we all have a role to play. You don't have to be a person helping to coordinate the rally to just get your friends and bring them along. We're all in our kind of stupid bubbles of, algorithm driven information. Do something to break out of that. Text your friends, text your family, call some people if you still do that. However it is you communicate with people that's not a social media platform. Let everyone know this is happening, and they can find one close to them. Text your, your high school buddy thread and say, hey, who's going to No Kings rally? Which one are you going to? If you go to, there's a lot of cool stuff happening throughout our Commonwealth, and I want to thank you all for putting your time and energy to make it happen. We got a couple things we need to do to kind of close out the show, so we're gonna have to cut it here, but we want to hear back how things went. Please do head to our Facebook page, our Facebook group, and let everyone know. But appreciate all you guys have done. all that we will do together as a larger movement, and the change that we're gonna create, which I think is significant and real, and very well could save democracy. So let's keep going, folks. All right, so Chris, I think we've got a few things we need to do really quickly to close out the show, because it's been a bit of a longer one, because we had a lot of awesome guests to chat with.
So many, yeah.
So many.
Awesome.
And I'm sorry, anything you wanted to add? You just had to sit quietly for such a long time.
It's fine. I had to stay muted most of the time because there was lots of babies screaming in the background.
Little priest household chaos.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, hey, can you maybe share a call to action?
Yes. Call to action. Join us at No Kings, October 18th in Lexington and 22 other locations around the state. We need folks to bring their friends and family and help us make this the largest day of protest in U.S. history. We need volunteers to help be at tables and to help set up tables, to help keep the peace, and to make signs, to help clean up. And we need you. And after No Kings, we need you to help make a fundamental shift in Kentucky politics in Lexington and the 15 counties around us to take Trump's power and flip the 6th district. So please fill out the volunteer survey right wherever it is on the link thing there, and do that right now. So right now, do it. Do that thing.
Right now, people. We'll wait. Awesome. And one other thing I wanted to share, we have got a sign making party that's happening. So if you're in Lexington, want to meet other activists before the big day when it's just an overwhelming mass of humanity, you can take a little bit more chill. We'll be at West 6th. You know where that is if you're in Lexington. And we'll be making signs on Saturday. And we'll have some materials. You should bring your own. Big shout out to Dollar General, who has the best deal on poster board you're gonna find. So head on over there before you head to West 6th, because we're just a volunteer group, so we can't be buying poster board for everyone. But yeah, no, really cool stuff, and we're gonna have just a template so you can do the No Kings logo on your sign, so that'll look pretty cool. Also,
that Louisville mentioned that they were doing a whole art project,
an art build. Yeah.
That's
Louisville is shaming Lexington, that's for sure. We're just gonna have a sad poster making party. It's not an art build. I don't think that I've seen some of these posters. They won't be art. Actually, no. I gotta give a shout out to our full coalition, because we have not done that yet. So the Lexington coalition, it's big. It's robust. It's powerful. It includes some people you saw today. So 5051 Kentucky that Sophie works with. They came on the scene, I think, in the first, first few months after Trump 2.0 started. Really fantastic group. Want to just thank them for doing so much support work to make these events happen. Bluegrass Activist Alliance, obviously, Harry is one of the key leaders there. Thank him for his steady, solid work there. The Central Kentucky chapter of Kentuckians for the Commonwealth. Everyone knows KFTC, really just a powerhouse progressive organization with a long history in our fair Commonwealth. They've been great partners. Gathering for Democracy, maybe those older gray hair folks that Leslie mentioned. That's the kind of the Lexington crew there. Kentucky 120 United AFT. The teachers have been huge advocates and fighting for. Educators have been fighting for this. Holding the Trump administration accountable because they've gone after public education since day one, right? So Kentucky 120 United has been a great partner. Also, the NAACP Lexington Fayette branch, really appreciate their kind of just serious, level-headed engagement with our coalition. Peaceful Bluegrass Resistance, kind of another group that kind of sprang up in Trump 2.0, have been doing amazing protests each and every week, multiple protests every week. We've gone out with them a number of times. Really fantastic, inspiring crew there. And then, of course, Progress Kentucky. So it's a great coalition. And I was reading that off of the link tree. I think we've actually added the Lexington DSA. So they're actively involved as well. There's a bunch of groups that are also kind of sponsoring this event. So the Kentucky chapter of Writers for Democratic Action, Silas House's group, is sponsoring this event. The Kentucky Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty, Kentucky, I think, Abolish Slavery as well. There's like a lot of great groups that are involved with that Lexington Coalition. So many that it takes a minute to mention, but I wanted to make sure they all got a shout out, and I'm probably forgetting one. So Harry, if I did, put in the chat. But then generally though, we work really well together, and it makes it a little bit of a lighter lift. I can't really imagine if it was just Progress Kentucky doing all these events day after day or month after month. Like, that would just murder me. So yeah, it is absolutely fantastic to have many organizations pitching in to make this as impactful as possible. So I think that's mostly it. We should probably go ahead. League of Women Voters. That's the one I forgot. I knew there was one. Thank you, Harry. League of Women Voters, the Lexington chapter, has been active and involved with our coalition as well, especially on this event. So really do appreciate that and their engagement. All right. So I'm going to do our close us out. Is that cool, Chris? Or did you really want to do that? All right. So that was the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Progress Kentucky is a nonprofit organization registered with the Kentucky Secretary of State. We're organized as a 501c4. We are affiliated with the Indivisible Project and the Common Ground Kentucky Action, formerly CAVE, recently rebranded. We are also proud members of the Forward Kentucky Network. Thank you, Bruce Maples, for all you do. Progress Kentucky's goal is to educate, organize, increase voter turnout, and advance a progressive agenda through civic engagement. Please join us next week. We'll be starting our string of interviews with candidates running in the 6th district, that congressional district that we've talked about, I think, 3 times now on this show, because it is so important. Such a key way to check Trump's power is to flip the House. We have the amazing unicorn-like gift of an open congressional seat here in Lexington and the 15 counties surrounding us. So we're going to kick off that string of interviews by checking in with one of those, probably not both though, Aaron Petrie. So that will be an interesting conversation, and I hope you can join us for that one. Production of episode 231, I guess, was by me. Not really very produced by me, because I was left holding the bag because our producer bailed on me. Nate Orshan wrote and performed a theme song, and that's a great theme song. You can find out more information and hear his music at natosongs.com. natosongs.com. Not a single one about the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, so don't get your hopes up, but natosongs.com. If you miss our weekly live stream on Facebook or on YouTube, our audio podcasts and our show notes are available on Apple, on Spotify, really wherever you get your podcasts. If you do listen to the pod, like if you're listening right now, please leave us a 5-star review and help share out the show. Those algorithms, damn it, are really important. And comments and writing a review and giving us 5 stars, that all helps. So again, big thanks to the folks who joined us today: 5051 Kentucky, Four Rivers Indivisible, Owensboro, SOKY Indivisible, and Bluegrass Activist Alliance. And of course, my partner in crime, Chris Priest. So thanks, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening and a great week.